So, what did you think of my presentation?
I think you have the great information, but next presentation use current information like on news.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about presentation.
Does this ever happen to you? The gives a lot of English language learners trouble for a long time. Even decades after you've been living and working in the United States, people can still have trouble with articles. So I'm not going to look at some of the things that you probably learned in grammar school, like you use the with place names like the Mississippi River. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some of the lesser known uses of the. The creates focus. For example, if you open a novel and it begins with the sentence, "The stranger came in February," it gives you an immediate impression that the novel is going to be focused on the stranger, as opposed to if it had started, "A stranger came in February." Similarly, if someone said to you, "Did you hear about the fight?" that person is trying to focus on this fight. So you can see that the creates focus, especially when it's used to introduce a referent. The signals uniqueness, as in unique in all the world. So, for example, there's only one Prime Minister of Canada, and by definition, there's only one best movie in the world. So you would use the to introduce these reference. The can signal there are no other logical reference given the context. So if one Canadian says to another Canadian, "The Prime Minister died today," they're not going to think, "Oh, is it the Prime Minister of Japan?" because that's just not logical. Similarly, if I were to say to my roommate, "I let the cat out," the roommate isn't going to think, "I let some feral cat go outside," okay? The is obviously referring to a cat that's known to the both of us. The can signal uniqueness as relevant to the speaker's intentions. So if I say, "I'm going to the store," there are, 50 stores I could be going to, but it's just not that important to me that you know which store it is. The important thing is that I'm going to, a store. For another example, "The game is on." Well, there are, many games that could be on. It's just not relevant to the speaker's intentions to tell you which game is on. What's important is that a game is on. I know I haven't ended all of your problems with the. It takes a long time to get the hang of it because, as you can see, the is kind of imprecise. It carries almost no real information. You can go your whole life without using it and people still understand you. And there are speakers that do that never use articles. But they don't sound like native speakers. The doesn't convey information. It's more of a discourse marker because it tells you what the speaker thinks is important. It gives you the focus. It introduces a prominent entity. The noun that it introduces is either unique in all the world, like the President of the United States, unique in that there are no other logical reference, or unique to the speaker's intent. So I hope that clears some things up. Of course, there's always going to be idioms that you just kind of have to memorize, like "at the end of the day." That's one. And "the end." Transition to the ending. So that was the.